Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that I want you to understand is that when it comes to friendships, relationships, any kind of aspects that's in your life, that self-awareness is key.
But Al, why do you say that, and what exactly do you mean by that?
So many different people are the cause of their dynamics failing, and then they're always quick to point the finger towards the other person. Welcome to Points of Perspective, a place where I hope that my truth is not your lie. Over the years, we've seen so many situations and it'll be because of both parties, or it might be specifically because of one person. But one thing that is rare to me is that I barely see anybody take accountability for their mishaps when it comes to relationships, friendships, and etc. Even if the person is a man or a woman. So why? To some people, they cannot do no wrong whatsoever in any aspect. Somebody is bipolar, somebody is a narcissist, this person over here is antisocial, they're schizophrenic, that person is crazy. But one thing that I feel that so many of us fail to do is to put my part into why this dynamic failed. What did I do wrong? Because this person probably didn't act this way for no reason, but my small disclaimer would be that there are some people out there who are sabotaging freaks of nature and will just make the relationship fail. But why is it that so many people are always quick to point the finger at other people and then they forget that they have three fingers pointing back at them? I kind of want to use a situation as an example, one that I saw online while I'm browsing through the wonderful world of Facebook. So this is what this post say. You can also put your opinions down in the comments below, but I want to read this out loud and then give my opinion.
After 3 years, we had one argument. He ended the relationship. That was a month ago. I reached out aiming to work things out. He was so cold about the situation, said he have archived our chats, so haven't seen my message, said it is what it is. He doesn't care, and it's probably for the best. I get that it's over, but after 3 years, children involved on both sides, we were reviewing houses to buy and talking about marriage. How can you be so over it? It left me feeling, did he ever feel or care about the things that he said? The relationship was amazing the bulk of the time, no arguments. I don't understand why so cold. I am utterly heartbroken.
And in my opinion, right, I don't feel that it's necessarily okay to end a relationship because of an argument, right? That's part of my awareness. Like, I feel like sometimes disagreements happen, emotions become involved, and then that's when people can just, you know, have their disagreements in a heated way. Yeah, and it probably shouldn't happen, but sometimes it does happen. But to my knowledge on how people are, and mind you, I'm no expert, I'm no guru, but it's just me trying to have discernment and awareness when it comes to these situations. What if this person was saying some gut-wrenching, button-pushing things to make this person be like, okay, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with you. I didn't know you can get this toxic. I didn't know you can get this bad. Yo, I'm up out of here. I'm not dealing with this. In my past, it's not something that I'm going through currently, but in my past, I had dealt with a woman in particular, right? Where even though we have our discords and disagreements and arguments, once the argument get to a certain point, me, right? If I'm going to try to be accountable with stuff, there's certain times where I would bring up things that she do that's frustrating, that's even outside of the argument. So that's where I went wrong, right? But where she went wrong into me, which was button pushing things, was she'll often say, you know what?
I feel numb. I should go out there and cheat. I should do this. I should do that.
And that right there, to me, during the argument, you shouldn't say them things, especially when you don't mean it. Because then later on, if I'm still pissed off like a week or two later, then she'll admit like, oh, I was just saying things to hurt you because I felt what you said hurt. So some people dealing with that type of situation will make them be like, yo, I want to be up out of here, because if you can say certain things because of the fact that we're mad and it's not even true, but you're trying to convince me with your voice and yelling that it is true, then yo, I'm up out of here. But I didn't leave, but ended up finding out that the cheating part, it did end up being true, so, which is messed up. And another thing too, when it comes to like posts like this and people expressing what's going on in their relationships, they leave out certain things that they do that is bad because they don't want other people to judge them or to look at them as the bad guy and stuff, so they retract that. Because when certain things used to get back to me back in the day, right, or when she used to complain to her friends and to her sister, it's like those parts is left out, and I'm sitting here like, yo, but you literally said that this is what you should have done, but you don't tell them that that's what you said. So that right there, I'm not even sure if that's more of a self-awareness thing or somebody just being happy to be toxic in that kind of way. But that's another thing too. A lot of people are toxic and they don't even realize how toxic that they are. So then when they start going to other people for advice, or some people's inputs and stuff like that, they don't even say the whole context, the whole story. And this right here, I also want to share too, because there was a couple of comments. Well, it was tons of comments, hundreds, but I want to show you one in particular.
He found someone else.
He did. Didn't use any reason.
I hope she comes to terms with it, because this is what it is, even if he denies it.
And in my honest, humble opinion, I think that these ladies was projecting. I'm not even gonna front on that. But don't get me wrong, a lot of people do project when it comes to somebody else's situation, because that's what they have been through. But it doesn't mean every person in the world is going to be doing that shit to you. But the reason why I feel that more awareness is needed, because there's too many times in life that an individual will just start looking at things through their lens and not looking at things what's actually happening. It's almost like I don't even know how to say it, but it kind of makes somebody like self-absorbed and self-centered in that kind of way. So it's like, this is how I feel from it, so that's the way it is. Instead of being, this is the actuality of how this situation is. This is my part, this is their part. I've done some things that's messed up. They do some things that messed up. But if it's really to the point where it's like, okay, I want this person back, but they don't want me back, then take that time to be like, yo, what have I really done during this discord that made it so that this person look at me as unforgivable? But then again, who am I kidding? I could just be lost in the sauce, right? Because you have some individuals out there that'll cheat on their spouse, on their significant other, and then will straight up be like, I don't know what I've done wrong. Is that awareness, or is that playing stupid?